All right, my internship at Meadowside Elementary School. So my name is Angelica Sanders. I will be majoring in interior design and pre-architecture next year at University of New Haven. I interned at Meadowside Elementary School, and my supervisor was a Principal Gilchrist. So I entered elementary school from the grades K through 5th, or kindergarten through 5th grade, as a teacher's assistant. I chose to do my internship at elementary school because I knew it was a place where I would love to be because I do enjoy being around kids, and I knew that it was something that I would always continue to be focused in and just enjoy being there. My expectations was to be a teacher's helper. I did have experience with this because my aunt is a principal of a school in Derby. So for some volunteer hours, I would go there and I would just see that it was something that I really enjoyed. So I kind of already knew what to expect and go into. My responses were just to observe the class and just help out a teacher any way I could, and that would just be if any kid just needed help with math or reading, I would just help them with that, or any assignments just help prepare for, or just anything else. So some accomplishments were in the kindergarten class. They needed, obviously they're new learners, they needed help in a lot of things, but one of them were they were given new sight words. So I helped them with memorizing them, flashcards and stuff like that. I would spend about 10 minutes with each student because I was with kindergarten the most. I was with first grade for only a week. So there was this one kid in first grade, and he was only at the school for about 2 months, and he only spoke Spanish. He knew very little English. So the teacher asked me to just give him extra help. So there would be times where he would read to me and I had translation of Spanish and English, and then I would just help him sound out the English words. And then they would also work on writing a story. So I would just help him write out a story in Spanish with the teacher's laptop. He would just type it out in Spanish, and then I would just help him translate to English and then write onto his story. Another accomplishment would just be any opportunity where I could just help a student better understand something, if it was poems with second grade, or just a reading assignment, or just instructions in general. And then other accomplishments would just be having students complete or get a head start of their work. In a lot of the grades, there was a couple of students who had a harder time with focusing and just getting on track. So I would just stay with them and continue to help them through the process of their work. Challenges or problems would just be knowing how to communicate with children who are younger to help them do stuff or just complete a task. If I just tell them you have to do your work, it's just not enough. I would have to sit there, continue to push them and encourage them, really encourage them to do their work, or just knowing how to problem solve with kids. There'd just be examples where well, he doesn't want to work with me or play with me or something like that. I'm well, I don't know how to do it or say it in a nice way to a kid. There's other kids play with, which I would say, but it's they still want to play with those kids and stuff like that. Or some of them would just be going up to how to help students do math, especially. There'd just be a lot of methods I just I don't know if I learned or if I just forgot about them, and the teacher would ask me to help some students. There was some in third grade and I just had no idea what the method was. So obviously after that I did ask the teacher how to do this, but it would just be stuff like that. I just didn't know how to do stuff right away to help some kids. Also, I would say having patience with kids. Usually with the work, it would just be instead of me just telling them the answer, it would just be having to slowly go about a problem or a situation. So this opportunity overall did help my growth and understanding more deeply about a career path of being a teacher. It's not something that I would like to pursue, but it is something that I do enjoy with being around kids. And this opportunity did help me with growing skills and communicating with kids on different levels, and then just also problem solving. And my immediate future plans would just to be majoring in interior design and pre-architecture, and then continue with graduate school to become an architect. And I also was not offered a job here, but it makes sense because you need a degree, but that's it.
I have a question. Could you tell us about a fun experience you had or something kind of funny, just
Yeah.
one particular day?
So I was with fifth grade for only one day, just because the older kids you really don't have much involvement with. But I would say fifth grade was the best grade because they had a science fair project. And it was just fun to go around with, and then they also had a debate thing kind of going on. And it just made me laugh because the kids are really funny, And it's just like some of their arguments. It was like it's true, but it's just so funny to watch. Or like field day, like gym. Like I just thought it was like very fun to like just watch the kids. And it was like nice being outside. Or even if it was like recess time, like with the kindergartens or like the young kids, like they wanted to like hang out with us the most,
Yeah.
like play games like Four Corners and stuff like that. So I'd say it was just fun like talking to kids.
Nice. Did you think it was easier to communicate with like the older kids? You said it was sometimes hard to like use the right language with the younger kids,
Yeah.
but having experience with the older kids, was it easier to communicate with them?
Yeah, it was definitely easier to communicate with the older kids. Yeah,
Yeah.
because they're like pretty, like they're blunt. Like you don't have to like watch anything with them. So.
Was there anything that you learned while you were here at Jonathan Law that you felt like translated over to your internship? Any classes you took or just like skill sets you learned while you were here that maybe you applied while you were at your internship?
I don't think for like any like specific classes like anything like that like math or anything like that because it's like pretty like lower levels. It's like the basics of like English and like still sounding out words and stuff like that. So I don't really think so.
Guys, you got questions for Jennifer?
My question for you is like, where do you see yourself in 5 years?
Well, in 5 years, I see myself still in school just because for architecture, I know it takes 5 years to like get like your bachelor's in there, and then I do want to go to graduate school after that. But I plan to like already have like a job and like internship at like a firm.
Nice. Very nice job.
Thank you.
All right, so I did my internship with Eisenhandler and Co. So first, a little background about me. My name's Liam. I'm a senior at Jonathan Law. I completed the business pathway, which kind of prompted me to do this internship. And next year, I'll be studying finance at Iona University and running on their cross country and track teams. All right, so I intern, like I said, at Eisenhandler and Co. Basically, they do compensation analysis and employee experience with consulting. They developed data-driven strategy to recruit people. They try to recognize the industry's best talents and kind of keep those employees with those companies based on what they need to do compensation-wise. Primarily, they work with private capital businesses like hedge funds, private equity firms, alternative credit managers, and real estate investment firms. And basically their vision is that they're the gold standard in their industry and with like what they do. So my site supervisor was Shelley Eisenhandler. She's the president and founder. She specializes in human capital. She has over 20 years experience. She worked with a company called Aon before going out on her own and starting her own business. And she's helped over 300 alternative asset managers, so she's quite the resume and quite the experience. So I chose this site because I was given the opportunity to be mentored by Shelley. She lives in Milford, so I've seen her around. And first started out with me starting my own business, landscaping and stuff like that, which she took interest in me and my kind of entrepreneurial spirit. And basically she offered to mentor me, and then that kind of led into this internship. I asked her, I said, I have an internship this senior year. Would you be able to help me with an internship experience? And she was very happily able to do that. She offered the spot to me. Shelley's really respected in the business world. Like I said, she's like very one of the smartest people I've met, and she's been a great mentor so far, and I'm really grateful for the opportunity. All right, so my expectations prior to the internship, I didn't really know what to expect. I kind of went in pretty blind. I knew I was going to learn a lot, but I knew there was going to be some adjustments. For example, like transitioning different software programs coming from Google with what we use in schools to Microsoft and stuff like that. All businesses, they use Microsoft and Excel, so I just basically I expected that I had to adapt to those new platforms. So some of my responsibilities were basically doing all the background work. So Shelly and her consultant Chris can kind of do the talking with like different clients and people and stuff like that. I would be in the background on the meetings taking notes. I'd be creating data in Excel for me to send to Chris to review to Shelly, and then her to send that out to her management team that's helping her develop this product, which is basically a tool that helps with like compensation analysis. So the whole idea is that companies can go in there and select what role they're looking for, and basically it'll tell them like the high and the low and the medium of what people like that are making in the industry. So basically obviously it's a startup, so I was making these data sheets, lots of Word documents and charts in Excel, stuff like that, to kind of track the market and who's making what companies are doing what. Basically what I would do, like I said, would be sent to Chris and then to Shelly, to her to send out to kind of get into the building stages of what needed to be done. So some of my accomplishments were making that mock-up data. It was a big adjustment. It did take me some time at first because I was still getting used to Microsoft and all that. And like I said before, I wasn't proficient, so now I have more experience in that. My note-taking got a lot better and faster, which will definitely help me for next year. Kind of picking out the main details of what needs to be written down for later use and what's beneficial and stuff like that. And I also now know how to navigate the city better. So I would take the train in every day. And I mean, you get spit out into Grand Central and you're like, what's going on?
Yeah.
So I definitely got a lot of experience in that. Which will be helpful next year when I'm in New York full time. So obviously some of the challenges, like I said before, were just transitioning platforms and then figuring out how to get there and stuff like that, where to walk, stuff like that. So my experience was overall great, and I'm very, very pleased and happy to say that I was offered a job through the summer. So I'll be working with Eisenhandler & Co. and continuing my work with them, but until I go to school, and then I will continue to learn and kind of develop my business experience all through the summer. And the whole goal is that after this summer job that I stay in close contact with them, and I'm welcome back for after I have my degree in business and finance and whatever that is. So future plans, like I said before, I will be at Iona University. I'm going to study finance, entrepreneurship, kind of go through that whole business thing, and then I will be running there full time as well. So pretty excited about that. So that was my internship experience.
Great. Few things. Congratulations on the job offer. That's
Thank you.
fantastic. Are you going to be doing basically the same sorts of tasks? Are they going to be giving you new things? Do you kind of know what's up ahead with that?
Pretty much. So I will say no day is ever the same. So I kind of have my to-do list that like I'm given either like in the beginning of the week or the day, and that usually changes. Some like lots of times pressing things will come up that I got to get done first. So they divide it into, they call it sprints. So basically with this new technology that we're trying to develop, like sprint 1 is kind of the beginning stages. We're in like 2 or 3 now. And so basically as the sprints goes on, the product develops more and more. So I probably won't be inputting as much data like later on, just because that's kind of in the beginning stages. So my work could change a little, but the note taking and stuff like that will definitely stay the same. Yeah.
Other questions?
Did you mention you did business classes here?
Yes.
So did that really help? Because it seems like you had a better understanding of what you were doing.
I think so, with different like terms and kind of like the business like vocabulary, how to like send a proper email, how to like address people, how to present yourself, that whole kind of thing definitely translated from law to the real world.
Good question.
This might be more of a comment. I like looked up the website while you were presenting,
Uh-huh.
and it looks. I mean, obviously I'm in education, so this whole world is like foreign to me. But it looks like such a good opportunity to network because, I mean, according to this, right, like private capital business, hedge funds, private equity firms. So I don't know if you know exactly like what emerging field of business you want to go into, but I imagine this is like
Yeah, it's
great
definitely a good
vehicle
spot to be
like,
in.
to network, to cultivate those relationships because your website also looks very high end. So.
Yeah, I mean, I was lucky enough they actually gave me my own office and desk and all that.
Fancy.
So it's in the city, obviously, it's on 3rd Ave. But the Schulte Roth and Zabel is a law firm that they're partnered up with. So, I mean, I'm like sitting across from a lawyer that's like very, very successful, multiple people. So it's really happy that I can
That's
be there.
So
Yeah.
for you.
That's great.
Yeah, great job.
Any other
Thank you.
questions, guys? Yeah, okay.
Did this kind of like help you figure out specifically what you want to do in business in the future?
I think so. I always like I said, I owned my own business kind of before this. So I knew I wanted to do something in business, but definitely something in finance now and consulting because I like talking to people and stuff like that. So
Awesome. Great questions, guys. Awesome job, Liam.
thank you.
Now this summer, will you have to go in?